Boxers don't do this. This is why Canelo's not fighting Benavidez. Why would Canelo fight Benavidez, who's relatively unknown, and Benavidez beats him, and Benavidez becomes overnight a superstar? That's Canelo's letting Benavidez make a name off of him.
So you're saying that you're going to make...
It was up to me, like we keep on saying, we want to see Benavidez. Canelo, hell of a fighter. But my personal opinion, he's ducking Benavidez. You know, that's just my personal opinion. And I'm allowed to speak my mind. That's just what it is. We want to see Benavidez.
David Benavidez isn't holding back after Canelo Alvarez's loss to Terence Crawford. The undefeated super middleweight champion is turning up the pressure, boldly claiming that Canelo is too afraid to face him.
Can you not give us Canelo Benavidez? Why? Canelo, why? I do not understand it. You're demanding $200 million? Like, come on, dude. Basically, Canelo doesn't want to give us the good fights. Imagine if Canelo and Benavidez gets made. That's the Super Bowl of boxing. Boxing is on the rise. Canelo, don't screw it up for us. I thought I would never say this, but Canelo's scared. Literally, I thought I would, as a fighter, I know fighters are not scared. But wow, we've been begging Canelo. Please, Canelo, please.
Saul Canelo, Alvarez reportedly refused to take on David Benavidez, claiming he disapproved of Benavidez's approach and was only interested in the massive payday that would come at the fight. Veteran trainer Ronnie Shields had boldly predicted before the Canelo versus Crawford showdown that Terence Crawford would come out on top, and he's standing by that prediction. After the fight, Shields explained that he always believed Crawford's speed, agility, and seamless switch between orthodox and southpaw stances would be too much for Canelo to handle. He emphasized that Bud's ability to adjust his posture, attack, or retreat on command, and control the distance effectively exposed Canelo's subtle defensive flaws while creating perfect openings for Crawford's strike.
Unanimous decision. You got that. I just thought Crawford was too fast for Canelo. So many combinations. Canelo doesn't jab anymore. He looks for one shot now. You know, I mean, the end is there for Canelo. And I just think that Crawford was too fast for him. You know, especially in the southpaw position. We all know Canelo have problems with the southpaw. So, you know, and that's why I picked Crawford. I just thought Crawford could be too fast.
Ronnie Shields, the veteran boxing trainer, praised Terence Crawford for executing an almost flawless game plan, staying composed, timing his attacks perfectly, and capitalizing on every mistake Canelo made. Shields described Crawford's performance as a masterclass in strategy and ring IQ, exactly as he had predicted before the fight. He even suggested that Canelo consider retirement, noting that years of tough, high-level bouts have clearly taken a toll on him. In contrast, Oscar de la Hoya offered a different perspective, saying the decision to retire should rest entirely with Canelo. He added that if Canelo feels he's reached his limit, stepping away would be understandable, but he must be more cautious when choosing future opponents. De la Hoya went on to praise Crawford, calling him truly extraordinary and highlighting his exceptional skill in reading styles and counterpunching with precision. He admitted the performance was overwhelming to watch and a reminder of why Terence Crawford is regarded as one of the most adaptable and intelligent fighters in modern boxing.
Crawford is older than Canelo, so we can't use the excuse that he's older, right? We can't use the excuse that, oh, well, you know, he moved around too much. Well, it's your job to figure him out, right? Just like Chavez would figure out a fighter, just like I would figure out a fighter, just like any real great fighter can figure styles out. That's your job. I think Crawford did a tremendous job. Kudos to him. Sky's the limit for Crawford, and I really don't know where Canelo goes.
Oscar de la Hoya, the former world champion and renowned Mexican-American promoter, continued to share his thoughts on Canelo Alvarez's next steps following the historic defeat, while also analyzing Terence Crawford's remarkable journey. De la Hoya highlighted Crawford's unwavering self-belief, noting that this confidence will continue to drive him toward even greater challenges. According to De La Hoya, Crawford seems completely comfortable and at ease at super middleweight, with no real reason to move back down to 154 pounds. However, he acknowledged that Crawford might consider stepping up to 160 pounds if a major, high-profile fight were to present itself. De La Hoya also suggested that one of the most exciting and competitive matchups available would be a showdown with the rising star Virgil Ortiz, a bout he believes would deliver non-stop action, entertainment, and intrigue worthy of Crawford's elite status in boxing.
Doing Crawford at 160. Imagine that. It would be incredible. So there's a good possibility that Crawford will stay at 168. Most likely go down to 160. I don't think he's going to touch 154. I think he'll stay at 160 eventually and try to find the biggest fights possible. And the biggest fight for him would be a Virgil Ortiz.
Terrence Bud Crawford's performance in the September 13th main event against Canelo Alvarez drew high praise from Rolando "Rolly" Romero. Romero acknowledged that it takes a truly special fighter to hand Canelo a defeat, and Crawford proved to be exactly that. He noted that the early rounds were highly competitive, with Canelo pressing forward and keeping the fight close. However, as the bout progressed, Romero observed Crawford steadily taking command, dictating the pace, landing the sharper, cleaner shots, and winning round after round. Romero emphasized that Crawford's ability to adjust and adapt mid-fight against an elite opponent is proof of his greatness, calling it a performance worthy of being ranked among the best in boxing history. He described the victory as a masterfully executed mission, something almost unimaginable in its precision and dominance.
For me, that performance did something really special for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot more special than what probably anyone else is probably thinking, honestly. I didn't expect Crawford to be that big.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't expect Crawford to be that big, but Canelo did good the first few rounds, first like all the way up like to round 4, and then that's when Crawford took over, So I mean, in the second half of the fight though, it was all Crawford. There was no question about it.
Terrence Bud Crawford appears hesitant about stepping into the ring with David Benavidez, sharing a similar outlook to Canelo Alvarez. The Mexican superstar, who was recently defeated by Crawford, had also shown reluctance to face Benavidez. After seizing Canelo's titles in his historic victory, Crawford now finds himself facing questions about whether he's willing to take on the undefeated super middleweight powerhouse. Meanwhile, David Benavidez has called out both Canelo and Crawford, urging them to make what he calls Mexico's ultimate boxing match happen. Following Canelo's loss, Benavidez intensified his demands, suggesting that it's time for the torch to be passed. A former world champion has even advised Canelo to retire, pointing to the toll that years of high-level competition have taken on him. Addressing speculation, Crawford acknowledged Benavidez's physical advantage, saying, Benavidez is a big guy. I'm not denying that I'd fight him, but size was the only reason I took on Canelo. Benavidez is around 1.80 meters tall and weighs between 88 to 90 kilograms. Boxing analyst Dan Rafael echoed Rolando "Rolly" Romero's assessment of Crawford's win over Canelo, noting that the early rounds were fierce and action-packed. However, Rafael emphasized that Crawford's preparation and precise execution allowed him to outclass the bigger, more experienced Canelo with ease. He praised Crawford's calculated approach and discipline, highlighting how Bud turned what many saw as an impossible challenge into a statement victory. Through focus, adaptability, and relentless work ethic, Terrence Crawford has proven himself to be one of the most complete and determined champions in modern boxing.
I thought he did a great job. I thought it was close. I had Canelo ahead in the early going, but I thought Crawford did an amazing job closing that fight down in the last few rounds, where you really sort of back the supposed bigger guy up, although for me, they looked about the same size. But that was a brilliant performance, and what can you say? I mean, you got to give him his credit. He created a lot of history. He dreamt this fight. He willed it to happen. A lot of people, not me, but a lot of people laughed at him, said, forget about it, no chance against a bigger guy like that. But
Dan Rafael further explained that while a Canelo-Crawford rematch would undoubtedly draw massive attention and generate huge revenue, it might not be the smartest or most beneficial move for either fighter right now. He advised both men to pursue other high-stakes opportunities that better align with their current career trajectories. Rafael suggested that Canelo carefully assess the pros and cons before deciding on his next opponent, or even whether to continue fighting at all. As for Crawford, Rafael emphasized that this historic victory has elevated his status to such a level that every top contender in multiple divisions will now be calling him out. However, Rafael cautioned that Crawford should evaluate each potential matchup carefully, considering not only the weight division and the significance of the event, but also the championship stakes involved. According to Rafael, Bud's next move must be strategic, ensuring that it builds upon his legacy rather than risking it unnecessarily.
The winner of Eubank and Ben, too, the Hamza Shiraz, I mean, those types of names. He's got mandatories. Madili got the draw tonight in a great fight. There's other fighters that have belts and interim belts and blah, blah, blah. So, nobody's going to rush Terence Crawford into his next fight. He'll take his time and, whatever the next fight is, it's going to be a big one because, his name is even greater now than what happened going into this fight for him. So he beats Canelo Alvarez, it becomes a much bigger.
Louis Schofield, who had been confident that Canelo Alvarez would emerge victorious on September 13th, admitted he was stunned by Terence Crawford's complete domination. Schofield said he had expected to see a classic Canelo performance, one marked by power, precision, and control, but instead watched the Mexican star fall far short of expectations. For the first time, Schofield expressed uncertainty about Canelo's future in boxing, even questioning whether retirement might now be on the horizon. Breaking down the fight, he noted that Crawford outclassed Canelo in every department, from pace and timing to ring generalship, building a commanding lead on the scorecards and cruising to a decisive victory. Despite his disappointment, Schofield shared his hope that Canelo won't walk away just yet. He encouraged the former champion to take time to regroup, rebuild, and mount a strong comeback, one that could remind the boxing world why Canelo Alvarez was once regarded as one of the sport's most dominant figures.
I was hurt, I ain't gonna lie, because I've been a fan of Canelo since I was a kid, so my heart, a tear almost came on my I ain't gonna lie, because it felt like, that Canelo's done. But I just think he was a little off that night. I think he can, make a big comeback. But to Crawford, man, he's the greatest of this era. You gotta give it to him. Greatest of this era. Nobody's ever done that before, 3-time undisputed. So you gotta take your hats off to Crawford. And I was just shocked that he was able to just dismantle Canelo like that, even with the size difference. That just goes to show.
Canelo Alvarez's career stands as a blueprint for the modern boxing legend, built on facing elite opponents, achieving global pay-per-view stardom, and capturing world titles across 4 weight divisions. Throughout his journey, he has showcased remarkable adaptability, mastering diverse fighting styles while delivering devastating counterpunches with precision and power. From his teenage rise in Mexico to signature victories over celebrated names like Miguel Cotto and Sergey Kovalev, Canelo evolved into a global superstar and one of the sport's most marketable figures. His consistent dominance in elite divisions solidified his status as one of boxing's defining champions of the era. When Canelo shared the ring with Shane Mosley in 2012, the veteran fighter recognized something special in the young prodigy. Mosley later reflected on the experience, describing Canelo as possessing natural strength, impeccable timing, and exceptional patience, rare qualities that already hinted at a future pound-for-pound great. Canelo's evolution from a gifted young prospect into one of boxing's most respected and accomplished champions has been marked by composure, discipline, and maturity, traits that were visible even in his earliest fights and continue to define his legacy today.
The young kid, I think he was 21, 22 years old, he had a lot of experience, I should say. He had a lot of boxing experience at his age. Huh?
He had 40 or 50 fights at that point, right?
40, 50 fights, but not just that. I'm talking about experience as far as knowledge about being the real, experience. Like veteran experience. Like he knew how to counter, he knew how to block and counter, do different things. So it wasn't like he was just an ordinary fighter. And I was like, and fighting him, I'm like, wow. He actually knows how to get away from stuff. He knows how to counter. He knows how to trick shots up and say he knows how to do something.
Furthermore, Canelo Alvarez's resilience and championship mentality were on full display in his 2 closely contested battles with Gennady Golovkin, encounters that stand among the defining moments of his career. He further cemented his legacy by becoming the first ever undisputed super middleweight champion, defeating Caleb Plant to unify all 4 major world titles. Beyond his titles, Canelo has built a career on taking risks, consistently stepping up in weight and facing dangerous opponents without hesitation. His journey embodies both excellence and endurance, blending Mexico's proud fighting spirit with elite technical skill and discipline. These accomplishments have firmly established Canelo as one of the most remarkable fighters of his generation. And in a powerful show of respect, Terence Crawford's decision to return the championship belts to Canelo after their fight symbolized the deep admiration and reverence Canelo commands within the boxing world. David Benavidez has earned a reputation as one of the most dangerous and skilled fighters in the super middleweight division, with his 2019 victory over Anthony Dirrell marking a pivotal turning point in his career. In that bout, Benavidez showcased his power and composure, stopping the experienced champion with a 9th-round knockout to reclaim the WBC title. Speaking afterward, the then 22-year-old champion reflected with calm confidence, acknowledging that he had achieved a lifelong dream while proving he belonged among the sport's elite. Benavidez praised Dirrell's relentless pressure and sharp combinations, crediting the fight as a valuable test that pushed him to dig deep and assert his dominance. The win, he explained, was a testament to his discipline, maturity, and continued growth as a fighter. Combining youthful energy with focused determination, Benavidez demonstrated that his blend of power, precision, and mental toughness had made him the man to beat at 168 pounds.
Words can't explain how good I feel. I said I was going to get in here. I was going to win the belt again. Like I said, it was a hard fight. My Dirrell was trying to catch me all night. He was trying to counter me when I would step in. But we were willing to take the chances, and he didn't catch me at all. It was a hard fight, but my dreams come true. Second time fighting on pay-per-view. All my people out there came out to support. So man, it's an amazing feeling. I just can't wait to get back in there again and defend my.
Following the electrifying showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, boxing fans are passionately debating what comes next for both fighters. While some supporters and analysts are calling for an immediate rematch, others believe Canelo and Crawford should take different paths and seek new challenges. David Benavidez has been vocal in his criticism of Canelo after the loss, emphasizing that the idea of youth versus an aging legend is simply too compelling to ignore. Many fans share this sentiment, finding the potential matchup between Benavidez and either of the two stars both exciting and symbolic of a generational shift in boxing. At the same time, numerous voices within the sport are urging Canelo to consider retirement to preserve his remarkable legacy after an illustrious career at the top. For Crawford, however, this victory opens the door to a wide array of thrilling possibilities. Should he focus on rising star Virgil Ortiz Jr., move up and aim for another world title at middleweight or super middleweight, or perhaps take on another pound-for-pound giant in a historic clash? What do you think? Should Canelo hang up the gloves or accept Benavidez's challenge? And who should Terence "Bud" Crawford face next? Share your thoughts in the comments below.